Intent without follow-through is dead intent, useless intent, worse than that. When you intended to do good and when the opportunity arrived to do the specific good you've been telling everyone about, yourself, God, and everyone else, but you don't bother to go through with it, then this is deceitful to God, to yourself, and to all those you promised, either verbally or in your heart. This is much worse than one who has promised nothing. At least he didn't go back on his word. You don't want to be in a position where you lie to the Holy Ghost, and look what happened to Sapphira and her husband. They died on the spot. Rather than say nothing of your good works and let works prove themselves. You don't have to brag them beforehand. Let your works speak for themselves. Don't just talk about good works that you're going to do in the future, because you don't know if you have another day on earth to do it. I guess you could say, God, if you're willing, I will do such and such, so that way you didn't promise what you could not fulfill. It would be better to actually have done many good works you never announced than the reverse. And don't tell me your faith, show me your faith. This is a show and tell life, not just a tell life. Let your life be filled with good intentions, not just with good actions, not just good intentions that never are enacted. Don't waste too much time on good intentions. But when opportunities come up to do good, do them. Some get so much satisfaction of all the good they were going to do when the opportunity comes, and when it arrives, they do nothing. And they already got some satisfaction of what they thought they were going to do. There's some psychological satisfaction in studies of the mind where we imagine certain goods and we get some kind of satisfaction in the thought, but never doing it. But life is made up of what you did not. Life is made up of what you did, not what you intended to do. Intentions with a promise action of certain events takes place after intention can take the place of a substitute actually doing things, and it's useless. Let the man who says, I won't give one shirt away, I only have 10. When I'm rich, I have 1,000 shirts, then I'll give some away. Then I'll be generous. But usually, the fact is, he never became rich, so he never got to give anything away. And if he does become rich, he forgets his promise, his good intention that he was going to do. We must start giving from what we have, not from what we might imagine we'll eventually have. It's so easy to give what we don't have away. Well, if I was rich, I would do. Yeah, right. If I get that car I wanted, I will give my old car away. But when you get that car you wanted, suddenly you want to sell the old car and think, well, why should I give it away? Now suddenly we have a new take on life. But now, if it comes to light that you said you were going to give something away and now you're on the spot, so then you go ahead and say, oh yeah, I'm going to give the car like I promised. So now you're praying around like what a great man you were, where actually the moment before that you were planning on just selling it and keeping the money, but somehow you were exposed, so you decided to go ahead. What does God think of that giving? Do you think he'll credit you something for that? What do you think? Or have you already received your credit from men? Told them all what the great thing you did. So God doesn't have to give you anything. God's watching. He's listening. And then maybe now that you had to give that vehicle away, you just turn around and say, well, I'm a religious person, I always tithe. I'll take it off my tithe, that car. So there you go. What does God think of that? In the end, it's only what God thinks that matters. Everything else is just fluff. Intent tries to steal from actually what doing would accomplish. Like, example, if I make this big sale of a house, I will help my family. I will do this and that. The big sale comes, all those intentions fade away. And now a new place for that money comes up for your own preservation. The good intentions now becomes an insult to God. Keep your good intentions to yourself and also your bad intentions. Maybe when the time comes, you'll do the right thing. We get some kind of satisfaction when we don't keep to ourselves and others just the thought was the end of the good intention. You know, if you can get that. The good news is good intentions often never manifest. Only good doings. It was just a dream, a cobweb, which was destroyed by our actual actions when the opportunity came. We spin a good story, but we don't live a good story sometimes. Stop it. It's recorded, and that's all I need.